day 8 for the birds on the farm and day 10 of life. And as you can vividly see, we removed the brooder paper from the floor. So now we have wood shavings. We have wood shavings and it's definitely way cleaner in here because the brooder paper, despite the fact that it absorbs the fluid part, you have poop all over the surface. So this is definitely better. Number 2, we don't have as much noise. Guys, with the brooder paper inside here, whenever the birds were running, it's like you are having rain pouring down. It was just too loud. But now with the wood shavings, it's much quieter in here, and you can see that the birds are enjoying themselves more because they finally get to freely practice bad behavior. You know what bad behavior is? Scratching, yeah, scratching, playing around with the wood shavings. And that playing around with the wood shavings has already caused us a problem. So guys, up until today, we were still using these feeding trays. I know it's quite late, but hopefully today we are going to stop. Well, not hopefully. Today we are actually going to stop. So, because we are using these wood trays, we have wood shavings falling all over. So, because the chickens are scratching all around, the wood shavings fall inside the trays, and that's caused us lots and lots of chaos. Guys, just take a look at this. Yeah, there is food inside here. Of course, there is also a bird inside here. But this is a very big problem that we've got to sort out today. So, yesterday I decided to experiment with this feeder. I put it up here and I knew that it's quite high for the birds, but I decided because I wanted to see how the birds will react to it, and they don't seem to have a problem with it. This morning I found one stuck inside here. I managed to get it out, but other than that, I think they'll be able to use it, you know, despite the fact that it's still on the ground. The birds are not tall enough to use it right from the outside, and we are giving the birds still quite some little amount of feed. They are probably consuming around 60 something kilograms right now per day. So distributing that within all these feeders might not be an easy task, but I believe that will do for now. So we're just going to be giving these feeders and installing them into the rest of the chicken house. Hopefully they'll be able to help us sort this problem. Then of course the other obvious problem is the water, the drinkers. Guys, as you can see, we've still been using these small drinkers. But the problem with them is the same problem we are facing with the feeders. The chickens just scratch, and you have wood shavings going in here everywhere. As you guys can see, you know, we have wood shavings. So these ones are certainly done too. So currently I have my friend over here who is helping me to clean these drinkers that we had hung up previously. You guys from the last video saw that they were super terribly dirty. So we are cleaning them. We've put them down. It's just at the level which is okay for the birds to actually be able to drink, which is almost at the floor, but it's certainly better than having these small tiny drinkers on the floor. So we are cleaning them up right now, and we're going to be able to install them and then let the water loose, you know, be able to feed and give the birds water from a more automated system. That will also actually help us decrease the number of times we need to enter here. It increases the biosecurity a little bit. It also makes the work a little bit easier for us since we have less things to worry about. You just put the feeds once in a day and you're done. You just put the water once. Actually, you never need to put the water since it's an automated system. So the water will be done, the feeds will be done, and all we need to worry about is the heating, which we actually don't need to do much of currently during the day. As you guys can see, we switched over to the briquettes and we had to double or triple stack them. Actually, this one is triple stacked in order for us to be able to provide enough heat that will work inside this chicken house. And that's because the heat needs for the birds have reduced. As you guys can see, the birds have started to put on feathers. You can see this little friend of mine, yeah? He has feathers, and that's a good thing, yeah? Even the girls do have feathers, yeah? I'll put the man down. Even the girls do have feathers, if you guys can see very clearly. Yeah, she has feathers, so this is a good sign. And so when they have feathers, they can thermoregulate a little bit. Of course, they don't have feathers on the whole of their body, but since they can thermoregulate a little bit, we can switch over to the briquettes. The temperature needs a little bit less compared to the first day. So most of you guys already know that I have a medical background. I was a practicing medical doctor. From my medical background, I know a lot about human medicine, and I found out something from my experience with this batch of chickens that might actually be present in chickens too. Cerebral palsy. So guys, over here I have some chickens. You guys can see them. You can see that they are grown up, they are put on wings, you know. This chicken has put on wings, but it cannot move. It cannot move. If I placed her on my foot, you'll notice that I think one of her legs is paralyzed. Then I have another one here which has taken up a really weird posture. Like, the posture is so weird, it's hard to understand. The head is like turning down where the legs are supposed to be. And then I have another one here, seems to be in a position of constant convulsions. Like, if I touched her right now, you can see legs stretching out. And the weird bit is that these chickens are now 10 days old, and they have been like this from the time they were 2 days old, from the time they arrived on the farm. And so what we would do is that we would feed them with water. You know, the water we were giving them has glucose. Right now we've stopped giving them water with glucose, but the water we were giving them before had glucose. So I would go and get some water from the drinkers. The previous drinkers had glucose. And then I'll get the chicken and try to give her some water to drink. So I'll just open up her mouth just a little bit. You guys can see that she's responding. One eye is closed for most of the time, but the other eye is open for most of the time. I don't know why. So I'll just, open up her mouth just a little, and then give her some water. Just a drop. And she'll take it up very gladly. More water. And she'll take up the water very gladly. So because these birds were what we call vulnerable, they were in a vulnerable state, we had to separate them. But the thing that surprised me is that they did die. So what was the problem? Did they have problems with supply of oxygen or water or glucose to the brain just after they were hatched? I think the problem was during the shipping. During the shipping, the birds are a little bit compacted, and then they get very low on glucose. So I think these birds got permanent brain damage. And the features they're exhibiting here is exactly what we see in human beings. Some of them have a state of constant convulsions, yeah? If you look at the feet are just constantly convulsing, stretching out and stretching back. If you see this one here, it looks like it's just convulsing the entire time, but it can't respond to anything. It's just convulsing. It has a weird position for its neck, as you guys can see. And of course, it can't survive forever in this state. Certainly can't survive forever. Put it on a tray that has some feed, and so when they need to feed, they can just take a little bit on the feed, but most of the time you need to feed them through a syringe. And so we had about 12 or 15 birds in this state. So far, I'm left with just 4. Most of the others have died because, it's not sustainable for you to feed them every day. It's more of being in a vegetative state that people who have cerebral palsy, even just human beings, experience.